A young girl, a schoolteacher, after her day's duty, started for home 2 miles distant a few days ago. The road was a dark and lonesome one. When she had reached the darkest and most unfrequented part of it, a big burly black man suddenly emerged from the roadside and seized her in a firm embrace. She screamed and fought desperately, but no one was near enough to hear her cries, and her own strength proved too weak to thwart the scoundrel. The brute carried bodily the half-fainting girl into the woods a considerable distance from the road, and there, out of hearing of any passer-by, he tied her to a tree with string and pieces of her own clothing, most of which he had torn from her. For 2 days and nights she was kept tied to the tree without food, and frequently visited by the brutal black man. Her senses nearly left her. Alternately she begged, prayed, and threatened, but all to no avail. Bent on glutting his fiendish passion, he was deaf to every plea. Despairing of release, the wretched girl finally abandoned hope and prayed for death. But help for her and swift vengeance for her captor were at hand. The young girl not returning as expected, first her friends and then the whole community for miles around turned out to search for her. On the afternoon of the second day, she was found. Overjoyed at the prospect of release from her loathsome position, it was some time before she could speak. But she finally managed to gasp out her pitiful story, and then, with rare presence of mind, she advised her discoverers to secrete themselves in the underbrush close by, as it was about time for her captor to appear on one of his frequent visits, and when he did so, they could catch him. This they did, and the man was shortly afterwards captured. His hapless victim was released from her bonds and tenderly carried home. The black man was securely bound to the tree to which he had secured the girl and tortured to death. He was first skinned and then cut up bit by bit. He suffered excruciating agony, but his captors were hardened at the thought of the brute's crime and continued their work. The man lived under this horrible torture about 40 minutes. The body was left in the woods where he had died.